I think we lost Arlene, but she's coming right back in there now.
Yeah, we're live there now, Marika. Go ahead.
Welcome, everybody, to our council meeting for January 25th, 2022. Council, you see before you an agenda, nothing outside of that, I don't believe, on the table for tonight. And I'll take a motion, please, for tonight's agenda, moved by Councillor Lane and seconded by Councillor Locke. All in favor, thumbs up. And thank you very much. All against? Motion carried. Thank you very, very much. And now I'll start the meeting first by reading the lands acknowledgement. We begin today's public council meeting by respectfully acknowledging the province of Newfoundland and Labrador as the ancestral homeland of many diverse populations of Indigenous people, including the Biotech, who have contributed to 9,000 years of history on the island of Newfoundland. Today, this province is home to diverse populations of Indigenous and other people. We acknowledge with respect the diverse histories and cultures of the Mi'kmaq and Inuit and Innu. We honor this beautiful land together as we strive for collective healing and true reconciliation. Council, you see before you the minutes from the previous meeting. Please, before we accept those minutes, are there any errors or omissions? Hearing none, I think I have a motion from Councillor Rice and Councillor Fry, and I'll call the motion. All in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Council, any business arising? Please quote the item number from either the action report or the minutes, please. Not going to say it. Looking really good. No proclamations, I don't think, here tonight. You see before you a municipal assessment agency election results news release. I think it speaks for itself. And without reading the release, you can see there the board of directors, 15 candidates were nominated for 5 positions were up for election. 68% of the municipalities cast a vote. So elected for a 4-year term beginning January 2022 from Avalon, Mayor Betty Moore from Clark's Beach. From Central, Mayor Tony Keats of Dover. Labrador, Councillor Deborah Barney of Lensaloo. Western, we have Councillor Amanda Freak from Deer Lake. And Eastern, Councillor David Hiscock from Bonavista. And there was a 2-way tie for the urban. Ultimately elected was, I believe it's Deputy Mayor Mary Thorngass from Torbay. So that's an update just for everybody's information. Any questions, folks?
Just, Mayor, I think the urban election 2-way tie has yet to be resolved.
Yet to be resolved. Thank you very much.
I think the vote is going to take place on the 27th of January, Your Worship.
You're right. It is. Thank you, sir. So
Okay.
I didn't mean to give Mary Thorne the nod there, but she and Councillor Andrew Little from Grand Falls, Windsor are vying for that last seat. Thank you very much, Councillor Locke.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, folks, we're going to start off with the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee. I believe Councillor Fry is taking the lead.
That will be me, yes. First on our agenda tonight is about our dual stream recycling truck and 1 rear loader garbage truck. So just to give you some background on this, the tender for the supply and delivery for the 1 dual stream recycling truck and 1 rear load garbage truck closed on March the 30th. And the contract was awarded to Saunders Equipment Limited. And the bid amount for this was $686,895 HST included. The Public Works Department received a letter from Saunders Equipment Limited dated December the 21st, stating that due to the unprecedented cost increases and severe supplier constraints over the past couple of years, there would be a cost increase or commodity surcharge applied to each of the unit. Now we're familiar with this as we had this in our last meeting with our other 2 trucks. This is something that is unavoidable. The charge would apply to this contract at a cost of $4,750 plus HST per unit. So the recommendation from our committee is that the commodity surcharge on the dual stream recycling truck and the rear load garbage truck as per TP 25-005 to be supported in the amount of $10,925 HST included, which can be accommodated within the fleet budget. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Fry on behalf of the committee and seconded by Councillor Rice. Council, any discussion? Councillor Antle, please.
I was looking for my hand button, but this was a lot faster. Just a quick note. I noticed this happened last, as Councillor Fry said, this happened. It seems like it's going to continue on. And my question is this is coming out of the fleet budget. Like this is $10,000. Last week it was $6,000. How is this going to impact our fleet budget? Somewhere along the way, we have to lose a vehicle if this keeps on coming up. Would that happen?
Director Antle or Director Pittman, who wants to take the question? Director Antle, I see going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Antle, and thank you, Your Worship. This is accommodated within our fleet budget. It won't have an impact at this point. I also would advise that we haven't had any recent tenders for large heavy equipment, and I would expect.
Remember when we asked you to share your?
I would expect in future this will start to be removed from our bids.
Say that I never heard that time.
Sorry, I was saying that when we have new tenders upcoming for other pieces of heavy equipment, I would not expect to see the same. This is through some of the supply chain issues of this year, and I would expect that this will stabilize.
So, like I'm just like this is $16,000. You know, our budget is finite. We just did our budget. I'm saying it's $10,000 this time, but it was $6,000 2 weeks ago. You know, $16,000. My concern is, how does this should be the end, do you think now?
I think right now, I don't think we're going to continue to see this. And with our new tenders, as we arrive at those throughout this spring and summer, this will stabilize. And I don't expect we're going to see these surcharges will become part of the bid. Yeah. And it'll be reflective of the actual supply prices then.
Thank you.
I guess the result at the end of the day, no, I'm not going to speak. I think Councillor Rice has his hand up. Go ahead, Mark.
You know, no, the Director Antle had a lot of good points there. And like, you know, this is, I guess, predominant of what's happening in our COVID times, you know, supply and demand of certain products. You know, once we, I guess, get away from COVID and we get away from the times of, I guess, you know, a lot of I guess, countries and states not supplying that raw product, I think we might see the trend going down. But right now, I'm thinking that trend will stay the way it is right now. Because the supply and demand of the raw product, you cannot get certain items, and I guess there's such a demand on steel now, and the products of manufacturing those loaders or trucks and specialized equipment. We might see this, for another year. So we might have to revisit the looking at our budget for next year. This is something we might have to look at revisiting sometime to fall when we go to look at our budget for next year. I mean, I can't see it happening or stopping anytime within the next few months, and something we might have to revisit regarding looking at the budget for next fall.
Councillor Fry, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, this is something that is unavoidable. If we want these vehicles, we have to pay the surcharge, and we do want these vehicles because the back end of it, on the other side, is that we'll be spending much more money in vehicle repairs and maintenance for the trucks that we already have. I mean, you just look at any car dealer now, the lots are empty. It's hard to get. And if we don't pay the surcharge and get these vehicles now, it could be a couple of years down the road before we even get them. And then that will leave a compromised state with our fleet. And of course, services to our residents are the most important thing. So at this point, this, in my opinion, is the only option, and it's beyond our control, and it's part of COVID, and it's just necessary at this point.
Thank you. Councillor Locke, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I do agree with what Councillor Fry was saying, but I take some solace in what Director Antle was saying, is that these are sort of surprises to us now. These are after the facts. These are things that we didn't budget for, but going forward, these surcharges or any increased costs due to the supply chain issue that Councillor Rice mentioned, they will be embedded into the bids. So they won't be after the fact expenses. So I agree that this is probably the last we're going to see, because we don't have any other large tendered items to come forth. So I don't anticipate, well, there's no other opportunities to get an extra $10,000 or $6,000. But when we bid on new equipment, if it's still a supply chain issue, to Councillor Rice's point, that will be contained in the tender prices, so we won't get this surprise. So I do support the recommended action here, Your Worship. Thank you.
Everybody has spoken except Councillor Lane. Would you like to jump in?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to say that there was a lot of great points made all around, but I think that, with COVID times, this is to be expected. And to Councillor Fry's point, if we're going to spend that money repairing vehicles that we already have, whereas we can get these new vehicles and hopefully not have to do repairs for a while, right? So, so I think that's just what needs to be done during COVID times.
Councillor Antle, are you looking to get in on the conversation again?
Just one quick note, I understand that we do have to purchase this product. I mean, we have to spend the $10,000. I understand what everybody's saying, but I'm thinking it's $10,000 now, or $11,000 now, or $6,000. What impact is this going to have us 6 months down the road? Do we run out of? It's coming out of our fleet budget. That's my point. It's coming out of the fleet budget. The fleet budget is finite, and we already know what that is. So eventually, we're going to lose. We're not going to increase the fleet budget by any means. So at the end of the day, we're going to lose something, right? That's my fear, is that, are we going to lose a small pickup truck? Are we going to lose some equipment out of the fleet budget? This is $16,000.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt this is COVID inflation, and the purchasing power of the budget is going to be, but it'd be going to be less. But what are you suggesting that we do? We have an envelope, I think, that's worth around 1.5 million for 2022. I can't recall the budget right now for 2021, but I'm assuming we'll continue to order the vehicles as we always have. But to your point, Councillor Antle, we're not going to run out of money. Based on 10,000, based on 600,000, that's actually a fairly low inflation rate. But there's no doubt that we're either going to order less vehicles out of that existing budget, or Director Antle, you're going to have to cut back on the specs. Thoughts?
And as time continues, we'll be looking at various other vehicles that we have in our fleet allotment for purchasing, and we possibly might have to make adjustments. I just don't see it with the size of the fleet budget and the equipment that we've identified. And these are estimates that we've provided to council for the cost of the vehicles. I don't see it having a major impact at this point in time. You're on mute, Your Worship.
Moved by Councillors Fry and Rice. Thank you very much. All in favor? And those opposed? Motion carried. Back to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next on our agenda is COVID operations and service update. So the Infrastructure and Public Works Department are maintaining our core services, including water testing and snow clearing, garbage collection, ice control, as per the regular schedule, including recycling. We're doing essential only water and sewer operations. We're doing street maintenance, including pothole marking, severe pothole repair, traffic signal maintenance, animal control, and fleet repair. So still very busy. Public Works Division is also operating as required with a 24/7 supervisory presence on site, and that's maintained to monitor for winter maintenance. The Engineering Division and Facilities Maintenance Division are currently working remotely, ensuring inspections, maintenance, and oversights are carried out. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Councillor Rice, for the remainder of our report this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Fry. Your Worship, number 3 here is number 3, 4, and 5 are, status updates. Number 3, update on Public Works. Snow clearing and ice control, maintenance of outdoor ice rinks, garbage and bulk collection ongoing, fleet maintenance ongoing with focus on winter equipment, water and sewer maintenance, repairs, leak detection, fire hydrant clearing ongoing. Part of our capital work projects, which is we have a fairly big list coming up for this spring, I guess, spring, summer, and fall of 2022. So preparation for the 2022 construction season underway, including tenders and/or requests for proposals. Some of these projects will start in 2022 and be completed in late 2022 or 2023. Updates will be made as the following advanced projects. I'm going to mention all the projects, but just want to give, we have quite a substantial list for this upcoming year, 2022, 2023. So we have engineering department right now who is going to require a lot of work to start these projects. Part of these projects will be our new Civic Center, St. David's Avenue Smart Accessible Playground Phase Number 2, St. David's Avenue upgrading completion, Farrell Drive, Holden Street to Evans Place upgrading, Farrell Drive, Topsail Road to Evans Place upgrading, Farrell Drive Pump House upgrading, Birch Avenue upgrading, Spruce Avenue upgrading, Roosevelt Avenue upgrading, Carroll Drive upgrading, Billard Avenue water main lining, Jackman Drive upgrading, White Boulevard upgrading, First Street upgrading, Keene Place upgrading, Jackman Road upgrading, Smallwood Drive extension, asphalt renewal, and Park Avenue select asphalt renewal, contract awarded to complete in 2022. Commonwealth Avenue, Park Avenue bridge repair, contract awarded to complete in 2022. So we have quite a substantial list there for I guess our engineering department and IPW coming up for this spring, summer, and fall 2022 and into 2023. Number 5 are facilities maintenance status updates. Additional cleaning of city facilities completed during the shutdown due to COVID-19. Tennis LED lighting upgrades installation is now completed. Glacier cart access upgrade, this is now completed and operational. Summit Center roofing, plenum, and parapet is also completed. And that's it, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor. I have a question, but I'll let the Councillor Locke go first.
Thank you, Mayor. Just for the benefit of the public, Councillor Rice, and we do have quite an extensive list of projects on the go here, so it will be a very busy construction season around the city. But Councillor Rice, when we make reference to upgrading of, say, Kane Place and Jacqueline Road, and that involves more than just the asphalt, correct? I mean, that'll be curb and gutter and the asphalt and anything like that. So that's like the full meal deal, correct?
Yes, I'm not 100%. I can pass this over to Director Rantle for more information.
I
Okay,
would think
sure.
those two streets, Councillor Locke, would include the sanitary, storm, and water lines.
Fire lines, yeah.
Right.
Councillor Wright, you're correct. Anything when we say upgrading, that includes the underground, the water, the sewer, if there's storm sewer there, and as well replacement of asphalt, curbs, and if sidewalks are present as well.
So this is a brand new road, Director Rantle, when we're done with the underground infrastructure as well.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Councillor Rantle.
Many buttons are to push all at the same time. Just a quick question there to Councillor Rice or Director Rantle, whoever wants to answer. I noticed the Commonwealth Avenue and Park Avenue bridge repair. Does that mean that the Commonwealth Avenue, the bridge repair, are we going to get the underpass underneath the Commonwealth Avenue bridge as well as Flanders City Centre, or where does that sit?
Director Rantle, you want to answer that one?
Okay. Councillor Rantle, this is for repair only. So this is surface asphalt repairs on both of those bridges. And I would also point out some of those bridges, or both of those bridges, are showing some evidence of some small potholes on them now. We'll repair them as required through the winter with temporary patches.
So will these bridges be replaced? Will they be new then?
No, when the repair is done, it's just the surface course asphalt. This is not replacement of those structures.
So when do we see the bridge, the Commonwealth Avenue bridge, being upgraded for the underpass or whatever we're going to do there?
That's part of a, that would be part of more substantial project years out.
All right, thank you.
But it's in our asset management plan, though, to Councillor Rantle's point. I
Yep, you're-
believe the Park Avenue Dunn's Road Bridge is 10 years out, but I can't speak for Commonwealth.
You're correct, Your Worship. Both of them are in the medium term. I'd say, I don't have it in front of me right now, but it's, I can check it for council later, but it is indeed within our 10-year plan.
And I thought this is where you were going, Councillor Randall. I want to talk with the two bridges too, if it's okay with everybody, but the timing of those bridges, certainly we won't do the two together because we have two exits. Two of the exits in Mount Pearl would be impacted. In your scheduling and planning for 2022, which bridge is being done first and approximately when?
I would expect we'll plan to do the Commonwealth Avenue Bridge first. We'll try to do that, of course, outside of rush hour, so we keep the traffic flowing before during the rush hour period. These asphalt repairs are not long periods. These could be in a matter of a week or so to get the work done. So we'll focus on Commonwealth first, and then we'll go to Park Avenue.
Thank you. Any other questions for Councillor Rice or Director Antle? Well done, guys. If not, I'm going to move on to the next committee, which is Community Development. Councillor Antle, please.
Worship, I'll do the first one and then I'll pass it on to my colleague, Councillor Lane. Number one is February the 2nd is recognized as World Wetlands Day. And it's a day that celebrates our wetlands and raises global awareness about the important role of wetlands for our people and our planet. It is noted that the city continues the commitment to preserving and protecting our wetlands. And you can see that quite evidently in how the city takes care of their Waterford River and all the waters around Mount Pearl. And it's quite important to us. And then I'll pass this on now to Councillor Lane.
Thank you, Councillor Antle. So we have the development permit listing from January 10th to the 21st, 2022. The committee recommends that the following development permit be approved as presented for the period of January 10th to the 21st, 2022. So councillors, you can all see that there in your kit. And I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Lane, seconded by Councillor Antle. Development permits, January 10th to the 21st. Any questions, council? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Contraminded and carried. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay, and next we have the building and occupancy permit listing from January 10th to the 21st, 2022. So the committee recommends that the building permit issued for the period of January 10th to the 21st, 2022, showing a total construction value of $1,400,500 be approved, and further that the occupancy permit list be accepted as presented. So we get a couple of houses going up there, which is always great to see. And I so move.
Again, moved by Councillor Lane, seconded by Councillor Antle, that we move the building permits, both building, construction, residential and commercial. All in favor? And those opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. I believe that's the end of the report.
That's it for me. Thank you, Your Worship.
So today we have the Corporate Services and Economic Development Committee report next. With the Deputy Mayor absent, the seconder on this for this committee today will be Councillor Antle. Go ahead, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. Two items here for us today. The first is a list of invoices for council approval. And you can see we have a total of 10 here, totaling $496,831.34. Just to highlight some of the bigger ticket items here, you see our City of St. John's water consumption for December of last year coming in at just under $230,000. Our municipal assessment agency, our first quarter assessment fees are $67,613. Our transportation commission fees to St. John's for a Metrobus, just under $100,000. And the St. John Transportation Commission for October to December for accessible services administration fees came in at $19,279.75. And again, the sum total there, Your Worship, is $496,831.34. And I move that the amounts be accepted as presented.
Thank you very much. Moved by Councillor Locke and seconded by Councillor Antle. Any questions, council? No. Councillor Rice, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Locke, just a couple of questions on a couple of the invoices. They're actually, in this question, I think might be, I'd like to have actually Director Antle answer this one. City of St. John's, our consumption of water for December 2021, 229,938.41. Just wondering, like, I know we back last fall, we were investigating some water usage. I guess that we had some leaks on the outside boundaries of our city, and we were just wondering, does this number reflect any savings, I guess, from that, or do we get that problem fixed? Because it's quite a substantial amount of money we're paying out for water consumption for the city. So I'm just wondering, if that problem got fixed outside of our boundaries, up at I guess on the top of the hill up by the water tower up in not Southlands area, but I think it's up in right next to, I think, the graveyard area up there, I think, Jerry?
Up in Galway, yeah.
Galway, yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Rice, thank you for the question. Yes, that's the regional water reservoirs that are in Galway. So it's in our neighbouring boundary. So the investigation of the leak was completed. It was not determined to be a leak on the line servicing Mount Pearl. So the water consumption bill that you see here is reflective of potentially some leaks that are remaining in our system. We've been doing continuous leak detection and repair. Our last indication of the consumption numbers show the trend is going down again. So it appears that our work for leak detection has been successful. We'll continue that, of course, as we move forward.
Thank you. And my second question regarding the Transportation Commission, so Metrobus fees and $99,330.28. I mean, I'll still go back to this. Just as a point of information, and I guess for everybody, it's a substantial amount that we're paying out every month for that service. And, I'd love to see that revisited and see, what we can come up with on going on a go forward basis. It's quite an amount, and hopefully we'll get some information back from the city, and I guess even our own interest, I guess, what we could do going forward for transportation for the city of Mount Pearl.
Councillor Rice, Your Worship, if I could, that was discussed at our meeting yesterday. We are investigating the busing service. You're right. We do pay a substantial amount for Metrobus as well as Go Bus services within the city, and we're basically renting or purchasing two routes that some of our users suggest that they are inadequate. That there's lengthy periods of time for getting buses, and it's not conducive to increased usage. So as we've discussed around the table, council table in previous councils, as well as this one as well, we are interested in doing an assessment, a needs assessment. I think the mayor touched on this, was, is there an increased need for enhanced servicing? And if, to Councillor Fry's point, I think some time back, is if we build a better service, will that promote greater usage? So all these issues are on the table. You're right, it is heavily subsidized. I think Director Collins might be able to speak to this, but I think if you put in your 250, my last number was the city is subsidizing to the tune of about $6. So the actual cost of a ride is about $8.50, but our users are paying $2.50. We don't get full coverage, within Mount Pearl, and that's some of the feedback we've received from residents that, for example, if you're in Masonic Park and you wanted to go down to Coleman's, it's quite a lengthy bus ride to get your groceries and then to return back. So your point is well made and well taken, Councillor Rice, and we will be exploring this further at our committee level, and then we'll certainly bring it back to committee of the whole.
Thank you.
Councillor Antle.
Yep.
I think Councillor Locke almost answered my question. I'd like to know, if the city pays out $99,000 a month on the Metrobus, how much do the riders pay? I'd like to know how much is paid every month. If it's $250 a ride, so that means they're taking in $25,000 a month on Metrobuses. That's what it's costing the riders, right? And what's the ridership? How many people ride that every month? Maybe we need to look at that. It's costing the city a lot of money, $1 million a year for a Metrobus
if that's not available readily, we can take that
Yeah.
away and
Yeah,
get
I'd like
back
to
to
have-
council. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. That's a valid point, Councillor Antle, and that again that'll be fleshed out in the investigation and the discussions.
Yeah.
For sure.
All
And we
right.
need some focus groups as well, Your Worship. Like, I think Councillor Fry touched on this some meetings back, that we need to reach out to our residents and see, what is the perceived need? And is there another way, to Councillor Rice's point, is there another way to meet that need in terms of maybe working with Metrobus for better routing or enhanced services? So that's all a part of the investigation that we're hoping to undertake.
Okay, the question right now, though, is paying the bill, which is the services already been provided under contract. I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Now back to you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. The next and last item for us is the payment register. And this is for information of council and our residents. The following payment register for January the 6th to January the 19th of 2022 total $700,471.04. And again, this is there for information purposes. But if there are any questions, we can certainly entertain any questions that anyone has, Your Worship.
The floor is open, folks.
Your
Okay,
Worship,
sorry.
may I?
Oh, I didn't see the hand go up. There it is now. Please, Councillor Fry, go right ahead. Yeah.
In our last public meeting, I asked about perhaps getting some brief descriptions on these expenses. Just wondering, Director Pittman, what the status is on that, because I don't see any here today.
To Director Pittman, I think that's before committee.
Yes, we brought a briefing note to committee yesterday that'll come back to committee the whole next Tuesday with some possible considerations. But unfortunately, there's no standardized report that we can readily print and make available for council. So there's further consideration on the process or next steps that we take to do that. But if there's any questions on tonight's, I can certainly answer them.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Didn't we invest like $1 million over the last couple of years to upgrade our software systems so that they can, so that we don't have to manually input things anymore?
We did. We undertook a full core finance implementation over the last year and a half. And so that system's done. However, printing a descriptor on the payment registry was not a functional requirement of the system upgrade. It's not a standard report that's generated by other municipalities. So the challenge we have with it is that this payment registry is actually the manipulation of multiple reports coming together. So from our GL system, from our Paramount PO approval system, et cetera. So there's not one, I don't want to simplify, say there's not one button we can press to generate a report. There's not, but we certainly have some considerations that we can look into in terms of filling responding to the question. I just don't have a solution this evening.
Right. I appreciate that, because I mean, outside of our core services like snow clearing and garbage collection, fiscal management responsibility is key to residents as well. So I'd just like to have, some more descriptions to enable me to do what I consider to be my due diligence. Thank you.
As do we all. Thank you. I don't know who's first to go. Who was first last time for the roundtable, folks? Anybody recall?
Councillor Locke was first last time.
Councillor Locke. Well, Councillor Locke, he who was first shall be last now this time around. Apologies, but and I'm pretending, by the way, to go around the council chamber just for a sense of order. So the deputy mayor normally would lead. So I'm going to move over then to the next person to the deputy mayor's left in the council chamber, and that would be Councillor Antle.
Worship, I'll try to keep it nice and quick. I'm going to keep all my comments outside tonight. And how's that? The first one is regarding our community skating rinks. Even though our weather has been a little unpredictable, we have 3 skating rinks here in the city. We have them up the Team Guju Sports Complex, Murley Drive, and Mount Clare. And keep in mind that we do have warmer temperatures and some ice melting, and this cause some flooding issues. But we want to send out a huge round of applause and gratitude to our residents who go out and volunteer and kept these outdoor rinks ready and able to go. You know, without these residents, without these volunteers, it certainly wouldn't happen. So we certainly want to thank them very much for that. I go around on a daily basis. I think we all do. We take a look at the rinks and take a look at how good they're going. Some are used more than others. Right. And keeping that in mind, the glacier, we just upgraded our glacier hours, and that was a few days ago, and it's on our website. It's all public skating has been adjusted as follows. The adult and senior noon skates are Monday to Friday from 12 to 1:15. We have family skates Saturday from 2 to 3:15 and Sunday from 2:30 to 3:45. And we'll update our schedule on our website on our ongoing basis. But if you want to use this, you had to book your bubble, and you can just go on our website, www.mountpearl.ca, and you'll find all the information where you can book your bubble and enjoy a little skate. And also, you might notice that last week we had a little bit of snow, and through the mark and quick off the mark, our IPW were out with the groomers. And the groomers are on our trails already. And if you can take a look, I was down the other day. I mean, the trails are perfect. Even though we might get a little bit of rain, but the trails are good. You know, for cross-country skiing, walking. And even on top of that, I noticed many of our sidewalks are being plowed. So Mount Pearl is all ready for your participation. Now, like I said, everything was outside for me, and that's it for me, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Do you mind if I ask a question to Councillor Antle's point? And I want to ask the CAO or the Director of Infrastructure and Public Works, but we have 2 grooming machines now. One came out of the capital budget for 2021. I understand that there is a process underway to secure a new bed, which ultimately is the piece of equipment that's towed by the groomer that creates the lovely sculptured trails. Who wants to take the question? CAO? Okay.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, in the budget, we did provide for the second UTV, and we tendered for it. But unfortunately, just to pick up on our earlier conversation, we have heard back from the winning bidder in the tender, and they no longer have the UTVs in stock, I think is our understanding. So today we started looking to the next lowest bid and to see what the supply is for the UTVs. The actual grooming attachment, we have secured 3 quotes for it, and we're hoping we have better luck with getting a supplier for the attachment through the 3 quotes that we've received.
Do we have security for that first bid?
I turned that over to Director Antle. I don't think so. I think this is just, again, a matter of supply chain issues right now.
Your Worship, we sought quotations. We didn't, this wasn't a tender process for us to seek bids with deposits. This was a quotation process, and no, there is no security. So we're going to the next suppliers to see if we can source this product.
Okay, yep, thank you for the update. And I know many of us, or all of us, I should say, really appreciate, as do our residents, you know, the amount of grooming that's done when we have snow. And folks, when we don't have groomed trails, we can still go skiing and snowshoeing up Powers Pond. I remember last year, Councillor Fry, Councillor Antle, and I went up. So Council, maybe this weekend or the next, we'll all have to go up, depending on the weather and that, and do a little bit of snowshoeing and promote it a bit more in the community. I digress. Let's move on. Councillor Rice.
Thank you, Your Worship. I got a couple of things here to add in. So just wanted to add on to actually Councillor Antle's part of our recreation facilities. So we, on our website right now, we have the updated list as of January the 7th. All of our recreation facilities are up and running. COVID protocols, requirements are in place for those facilities regarding Vax Pass entries, masks to be worn, and also, I guess, limited access regarding, I guess, the amount of people that can go on the ice or in the areas. So all those are updated to our website. If not, if you can't get to the website, you can call the city number to get the updates from there. Also, just want to mention about our booster shots. They're still ongoing. A lot of our facilities around St. John's and Mount Pearl are still up and running. Just a reminder that our best defense against COVID-19 is a vaccine. So, if with the new Omicron variant out there right now, very contagious and submissible for people getting it. So, if you're double or triple vaccinated, your best defense is the vaccine. So just remember that. Tax assessments are out in the mail. And also there's for seniors, there's a discount, and you can pay monthly or you can pay upfront, depending on your situation financially. I mentioned to the skating rinks too around our city. I visited those skating rinks actually a few times over the last couple of weeks, in the nighttime actually, and on the weekends, and they're pretty well packed. I was very surprised actually. Groups were waiting to get on, and other groups waiting to get off. And I did notice. I drove up to. I went up to the one over by Smallwood, and I had actually it was 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, and there was 4 people there cleaned it off and looking after it. And I said, well, that's pretty good. And, they're looking after the rink, and it's really nice to see this, all the residents jumping in and helping out there, right? And that's it for me, Your Worship. One other thing. Also, I had the privilege of attending Gertie Holloway's 100th birthday up at Hillcrest on Saturday past. And the mayor was there, and a lot of the other councillors as well. And it was so nice for all of us to get back together, even though we all had our masks on. But it's so good to see everybody, and even like all the residents that were in the windows looking out. I think they were so overwhelmed with us just coming to the window and putting your hand up. And Isabel picked up the balloons, and the mayor had the 100th certificate to pass into her. I mean, you could see the excitement on their faces. It was so good to see. It does the heart good to see that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to pass it out as well. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Rice. Yeah, birthdays are nice things to celebrate, and 100 is probably, let's just say, getting up there. But ideally, Gertie's just starting, right? So hopefully she has many, many more on top of it all. Moving around the table, Councillor Lane, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I just have a couple of things. So Mount Paul resident Terry Ryan has become a member of the 2022 Men's Masters Canadian National Ball Hockey Team. So that's great. Congratulations, Terry. Church of the Good Shepherd is going to be hosting a cold plate fundraiser in collaboration with Coffee Matters. So that will be a takeout cold plate sale. It'll be happening on Thursday, January 27th. So this Thursday. The cost is $13. And you can give the Church of the Good Shepherd a call at 747-1022 if you'd like to have a cold plate, or you can also message their Facebook page. And lastly, the Mount Pearl Lions Club Eyeglass Chair, Gerald Coombs, has collected, packaged, and delivered 1,100 pairs of used eyeglasses. So the Mount Pearl Lions Club is always doing so many great things for our community. So for Gerald Coombs, just thank you so much for doing that. That's just a great initiative. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. On to you, Councillor Fry.
Thank you, Your Worship. Well, seeing most things have already been said, mine is short this evening. Happy birthday to Gertie, of course. And also happy birthday to our own Dana, whose birthday is today, just saying. On January the 12th, we met with the Northeast Avalon Joint Council, and Sergeant Karen Didham of the RNC was the guest speaker at that one. And she is with the traffic services with the RNC. So it's interesting when you have representatives from all the other communities and everybody has common concerns, speeding, vandalism, those types of things. So it was a really interesting meeting. She did say that in the last year and a half, additional members have been added to the traffic unit. But one of the things that she stressed, and I know we've mentioned this before, complaints that come into the RNC are recorded. So if anybody has, and then the data is collected. So if anybody has a concern, they hesitate to contact and call the RNC, because, they'll never catch them now, so no point in calling. I encourage people to call if you see a behavior that is extraordinary, like, excessive speeding, if you witness any vandalism or driving, erratic driving, those types of things. Still call, just call and make a report. And from there, then they base their decisions on the data that they collect. So when the numbers are showing a need, then they respond accordingly. So again, I encourage everybody, if there's an issue, to contact the RNC, and all of their complaints are recorded and maintained. So that was an interesting meeting. That was following the annual AGM and the new election of officers. Mary Thorngoss is the chair. Craig Williams is the treasurer, and I ran for the position of vice chair and was elected vice chair. So I'm excited about that. Also, we had a couple of meetings with Eastern Health. The Northeast Avalon Joint Council arranged meetings, regular meetings with Eastern Health, to keep municipalities informed of things that are happening. And while a lot of it is outdated now because that happened last week, so the numbers are irrelevant, I did want to mention that the COVID numbers are trending down, but he did say that there is a change in testing. Like anybody who's a close contact, if somebody has symptoms and they're a close contact, they don't get tested. And therefore, those numbers aren't reflected in the case numbers. But they're bringing back the services now because they had to deploy a lot of their staff from other areas to these clinics. So now that they're not doing as much testing, the staff can, because they're already strapped with resources. I mean, they've experienced a lot of issues with COVID of their own staff and reductions. So they're bringing back services as of last week, which is a really good thing. And he said that 45% of those eligible have received their booster so far. So it's 132,000 boosters, which is good news. And the last thing for me I wanted to mention, tomorrow is Bell Let's Talk Day. So as we also met with the Municipal Mental Health Task Force on Thursday. And one of the things we talked about, of course, is Bell Let's Talk. That's always very popular. And of course, all of your texts that you make tomorrow, a portion of, I think it's 5 cents from every text or tweet or whatever it is, will go to Bell Let's Talk Day. So that's an important day, and of course, nice to recognize and to talk, because sometimes people just need to know that it's not just them. There's a validation in knowing that others feel the same way. And the next webinar for our mental health task force is going to be Gary Summers, and he's going to talk about after holiday stresses and stressors. So that will be the third Thursday in February. And that's it for me, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Fry, and on to you, Councillor Locke.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have much more than what's already been mentioned here, but I do want to acknowledge Gertie's 100th birthday. It was nice to get up and see her through the window, and the smile on her face. I think the greatest laugh we got is when Councillor Antle offered to give her the bumps. 100 bumps. She got a good chuckle out of that. So, but it was nice to see Gertie through the window, and as well all the other residents inside. Certainly were cheered up by the presence there. I just want to also mention about our outdoor ice rinks, and Director Antle did send some information out earlier this week that two of the 3 liners are damaged to the outdoor rinks. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, because I was going to ask Director Antle on that. I'm assuming the liners would hold the water during the freeze period, and if they're damaged or there's a hole in them, is there leakage? Does it make it difficult to rebuild the ice? So I'm just curious as to if you can provide some details, Director, on the damage. What are the potential repairs and any particular timelines that you might have?
Thank you, Councillor Rock. Yes, the liners have been damaged. They, therefore, now do not hold the water. So we need to either, number one, the ice melts sufficiently that we can actually get down and find where the holes are to, secure, seal them, and then hopefully the water will be able to be retained as we flood it again. Or we try to use some flooding to try to simply paste, we'll say, into the ice to try and salvage it. It's very difficult. We've made attempts now to try to repair them, and not having success to date. Our crews, of course, are consumed with snow clearing, winter maintenance activities as priority. So we'll continue. If I know the weather in the next few days is going to be mild, we might get a chance to be able to see if we can secure it again. But unfortunately, these liners, especially, it looks like if the ice if people are on it during the periods of when it's mild and gets damaged down through the ice to the liner, that's what happens, unfortunately.
That's what I was going to ask. Director, how thick is the ice when we put it on the liner? You know, because I was down to Councillor Rice's point multiple times looking at the various ice rinks, and people are so excited about it that they were on the ice before it could actually refreeze. So there's only half the ice where people were able to get around. They were having a game of shinny, and the other half, it was cracking. The ice was shattering. And so what would be the depth? What are we looking at thickness here?
So it'll vary, Councillor Locke. You know, depending on the grade of the actual location that we've got the outdoor rinks on. So it'll be thicker on one end compared to the other, but it's a few inches.
Okay.
It's not very thick, but obviously it does require melting for us to get down below the ice to find where the actual cut the hole is to and get tape or something to actually secure it.
Sure. So in all likelihood, the ice was thin, was wet. Someone's skate went down through the ice and punctured the liner underneath.
Either that way, or the ice itself moved and it actually punctured and ripped the liner. So it's
Right.
It's a piece of plastic. It's not that heavy duty that it's going to prevent, heavy use.
Right. Okay.
But I
Thank you
guess
for
we could, if they get drained and we have mild weather the next week, perhaps the likely next step would be to go get some new tarps and just lay them in, I guess, to get us through further.
Either new tarps, or if we can patch in, and we can actually patch in a repair and make a tape repair and get it filled that way. Either way, we'll make every effort.
Yeah, because they are a big hit, Your Worship.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely.
I got one other item. I just want to tip my hat to a Mount Pearler, Mr. Brian Cheeseman. Grew up in Mount Pearl, living in Edmonton right now, and he's an athletic therapist, and he was named to the Olympic hockey team. So a great honor. I watched him being interviewed, and he said with pride that he was from our fine city and grew up in Mount Pearl. So good on him. He said it's a lifelong dream. So I wish him. I hope he gets there, because I know it's pretty rigorous and with all the COVID and all that sort of stuff. So I do hope he gets to go over there. But again, I just wanted to acknowledge him publicly. Congratulations to him. And that's it for me, Your Worship. I thank you.
Thank you much. And I guess it lands in my lap now, but I don't have anything, Council. Everything I think has been discussed. Thank you for a very productive meeting. We'll join each other in 20 minutes for committee work, but enjoy a nice little supper break. And I'll now call for a motion to adjourn the meeting, and moved by Councillor Antle, seconded by Councillor Lane, and we are adjourned. We'll see